Hello, Mr. Chu here with Brack Geometry. Let's learn a little bit about composite figures and finding the area of them. So I'm going to make my face here a little bit smaller. I just wanted you to see that I am in a tie. And I will be teaching this lesson from my computer using this type of a format with this little picture in a corner on the side. So first of all, I want to point out that I would like for you to please subscribe to Mr. Chu's YouTube channel at the link in the bottom right to see more geometry videos. So there will be a link down here that you can click on so that you can see more of my videos. So let's start out this lesson by explaining what a composite figure is. It's made up of several simple geometric shapes such as triangles, rectangles, squares, semicircles, um, circles, trapezoids, any type of a polygon, simple polygon. So if two of them overlap, like a square and a circle, it overlaps, then that combined figure is called a composite figure. So we need to review some formulas. The area of a rectangle is length times width. So that you know, I just want to point out that a lot of times I'm going to write my length as a cursive L. It looks kind of like this because I don't want it to look like a 1. And so a lot of times I will write that L. It is just a lowercase cursive L. Looks kind of like that. And LW would be length times width, which would be the way we would find the area of a rectangle. Next, we have the area of a triangle. So make sure you remember we've got the 1/2, the base times the height. Remember, the base would be the bottom side usually, but it doesn't have to be the bottom. Could be the top. It has to do with the right angle, and I'll point that out when we do an example in a minute. Area of a circle, pi r squared. The r is the radius. Pi is that special irrational number that we usually think of as 3.14, but it's really not 3.14. And then you've got half of that circle, which is called a semicircle. The area of a trapezoid is the harder one. It is 1/2 the height times base 1 plus base 2 added together. Sometimes I'll write it h over 2 times the quantity b1 plus b2. But they usually just write that as 1/2 the height times the sum of the bases. And we write that b sub 1 plus b sub 2. Okay, and so to find the area of a composite figure, you just find all the individual simple areas and add them up. And so that's what we will work on. So in example 1, we have this shape that looks kind of like steps. They just haven't been built very well. We've got all these dimensions here, okay? So there are two easy ways to do this. One way is to take and divide this into 3 areas by drawing vertical lines. And then if you can find the dimensions, then you add the 3 areas up. The other way you can do it, which is the way we're going to do it, is to draw horizontal lines. So when you do that, then you've got the area of the top you've got the area of the middle, and then you've got the area of the bottom. And then to find the total area, you're going to add all of them. Okay? So we just have to go through this now. So the way we look at this, we say that the area of each rectangle is going to be the length times the width. The total area would be the sum of all of those. So I'm going to take the area of the top plus the area of the middle plus the area of the bottom. So you're going to have to find each area. So remember, it's going to be the length times the width in the top one, which is going to be 8 times 4. There's my 8 times my 4. My 8 times my 4 will give me the area of the top. 16 times 4. How did we get 16 for this red length here? Well, it's 20 minus 4. We could just write that here. This is going to be 20 minus 4, which equals 16. So there's this one. And then you have 20 times 2. So this area on the bottom is 20 times 2, which is 40. That's 40 square units. The middle is going to be 16 times 4. And 16 times 4 is 84. And then the area of the top is going to be 8 times 4, length times the width. So we end up 32 plus, this is supposed to be 64, not 84. You add those up, and all of that total will be the total area of that composite figure, which is that little stair step shape. All right, so now let's go on to example 2. In example 2, we have a triangle and a square that combine to make this figure here. So we're going to have two different areas. We have the area of the triangle, the area of the square. Well, now, a square is a rectangle, length times width, so it's going to be 5 times 5. The triangle is going to be 1/2 the base times the height. So the base is going to be 3. Remember, the base and the height always meet at a right angle. That's what that little square means right here. It's a right angle. So we got our base of 3, height of 4, and you just plug it in. Okay? Just going to plug it in here. All right? So the total area is going to be the area of the rectangle or square plus the area of the triangle. So we're just going to figure those up now. So we've got the length times the width for the area of the rectangle. It's going to be 5 times 5, which is going to be 25. So we have 25 units squared. So this area is 25. And one way I write this for units squared when I don't have a particular unit, I often will just put a U squared. And you can see that Trey, my cat, is here. And Trey is part of he's my mascot for my Trey arithmetic. So here he is. He's my 4-year-old black cat. And yeah, he's my buddy. And sometimes he comes up to visit and get on the screen. So I just wanted to point out that if you see a tail flipping around my head, that's what's happening. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is find the area of the triangle. And the area of the triangle is going to be 1/2 the base times the height. So it's 1/2 of 4 times 3 or 3 times 4. It's just when I've got the 1/2 and the 4 side by side, it just makes it easier because half of 4 is 2. So 2 times 3, 6. 6 units. So I can say that this area right in this triangle is 6 units squared. So to find the total, you just add the 2 up. It's not anything that's hard as long as you can find the 2. It's a total of 31 units squared. All right. The third and last example is the shape of a rectangle and a semicircle. All right. So in order to find that, let's review our formula. Times width. Semicircle is 1/2 pi r squared. And to find the area of the whole thing, you're going to take the area of the rectangle plus the area of the semicircle. Add them. All right. So I've got the only thing I need to find is the radius. So to find this radius here, I have the diameter of that circle, and the radius is going to be half of it. Well, what's the length of AB? Well, since it's a rectangle, we know that length is 8. So we know that the radius would be 4. Now I can just plug and chug is what I call that. So the area of the rectangle, length times width, the length and the width are 8 and 12, and it doesn't matter whether you write 8 times 12 or 12 times 8. It's called the community property of multiplication from algebra. You get 96 units squared. So I have my area is 96 units squared. Now we have to find the area of the semicircle, which is 1/2 pi r squared. So it's going to be 1/2, and if we use 3.14 for pi, and then 4 squared would be 16. And I put the little curved equal signs, it's called a double tilde. Why? Because pi really isn't 3.14. It's just approximated at 3.14. So I've got half of 3.14, which is 1.57 times 16. Gives me 25.12 units. So I can write that in here. So the area is 25.12 units squared. And then to find the composite area, you just add to 121.12. So these are the examples. Now, the next 2 lessons that go with this will be lessons where I'll be up at the whiteboard working, and you'll be able to see me working a couple of examples. Then we'll have a couple challenge problems, and then I will work through those. So it'll be called video 2.06B. There'll be linked videos back to this lesson and then to the next one. Remember, down here will be a subscribe button that you can subscribe to. I will work my next lessons on the whiteboard, which is normally where you'll see me in my tie. Then there'll be 2.06C where I have 2 challenge problems at the end of lesson B. and then I work them out in Lesson C video. You'll be able to look at those. Make sure you subscribe so that you can watch more of my videos. I'm Mr. Chu, and I want to help you learn geometry. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I hope that geometry becomes easier for you in BRAC geometry.